Okay, well, welcome back to the never-ending sessions of the 2008 Londonderry Candidates Forum. We've gone now to the library trustees, the trustees of the Leach Library. It's a 3-year term, and there are 2 positions open. We have, let's see, 5 people who have put their names in for that. They are Ray Brown, Robert Collins, Karen Goodman, Jeremiah Lamson, and Richard Mackey. We have invited everyone, but we only have 2 folks who were able to attend, I see today, and that's Karen and Ray, and we welcome you folks. We're going to use the same format as we have with the other sessions in the forum today, and that will be that the panelists, who are all from the newspapers in town, will be asking you questions. We're going to limit that, I believe, to 2 questions for each of them, so we'll just alternate as we go along. And maybe before we start, why don't we let you have a minute or so to tell us a little bit about yourselves. Karen, we'll start with you.
Okay, well, I'm Karen Goodman. I've been a resident of the town of Londonderry for 11 years, and I'm currently working at Southern New Hampshire University as the Director of Continuing Education in run the Nashua Center. And as a person who's really involved in information literacy and ensuring that all of our college students, as well as high school students coming into college, that people know how to write well, know how to research well. I'm also a lifelong learner to add on to that. And I'm finishing up in May. I'll be graduating with my second master's in library and information science. So I have a strong background in understanding libraries, library management, resources, and budgeting.
All right, thank you. Raymond.
Hi, Ray Brown. I've been a resident of Londonderry for 16 years, although until 6 years ago I was an active duty Coast Guard officer and spent a fair bit of time away, including 1 year in the Pacific Ocean. Been involved in the town in youth sports, Boy Scouts of America, with George Herman, as a matter of fact, and ad hoc committees in town for both the principal search and organizational development of our police and fire departments. These past 6 years I've been a security consultant. 16 years I've lived here. I have been a patron and a member of the Leach Library. Though I can't boast a master's degree in library and information science, during a recent 5-year period, both my wife and elder daughter went through that program, and I feel like I went through the program myself.
You at least paid for it.
So got a good deal of information by osmosis, or knowledge of it, and I've been a volunteer in public libraries. In fact, developed a maintenance plan for a library in the area. Just this juncture, I think, agree with my colleague here that libraries are terribly important, not just because they're mandated by law in terms of their regulations and requirements, but they are an important resource to our community, and I would like to do the best I can to further that endeavor.
Well, we thank you both for stepping forward. So let's get to our questions then, and Bill, let's start with you. Yeah, I know. All right. I wanted to throw you a curve.
You did. You did. I think from what, in the time that I've worked here in the area, I've heard that people are very happy with the library that they have here in Londonderry. It's something, certainly a jewel of the community, and something that is utilized very well. But taking that as kind of the baseline, what are ways in which you see, and if you are elected to this next term, ways in which the library can do more or do better or address areas that perhaps they're not servicing, the library is not servicing the community right now, that you think that perhaps it could in the coming years?
Karen.
Well, I think right now, first of all, I want to say that we have an outstanding library staff, and the services that we do offer here at the library are also very outstanding. I have volunteered at the library when I first moved here, and this is how I eventually went into library information science. But the book sale room is another example of a way of providing a service for folks. They just come in and they get, you know, for very little money, they get some great books that they take home and enjoy and then bring back, and you can get rid of your books that way too, you know. But I mean, it's a great service. On top, one of the things that I look at, especially with the changing demographics of Londonderry, and as we do go with that more and more emphasis on the 55+ communities that are growing here and building, one of the things that we look at is the consumer health information. And I would like to see, while we have an excellent reference section and we do have the resources available, there are many more things that we can make available to the community on consumer health information. And utilizing the meeting rooms, getting out more, whether it's websites or listings of kinds of things that are available to people that they need to know about, that they don't know about yet. And also, you know, even the things like the avian flu, you know, where do we look up this kind of stuff? Where do we find out those potential public health issues? Resources in the library are fantastic, but it's getting the word out and marketing those resources that we can do better.
Thank you. Ray?
I'm in agreement with all that's been said. I do think that our local library could have greater participation in the consortium of libraries here in southern New Hampshire. I don't think we do quite as much as we should do. And with the state library, I just don't think the connections are as strong as they could be, and that is a means of expanding resources. Additionally, as near as I can tell, the collection is not online. Now that is something that is done in many libraries throughout the nation, throughout the state today. I mean, there may be a reason why that doesn't occur, and financial or something else, but I'd like to take a good look at that because that's a means of expanding the outreach to the public. And I certainly do agree that I don't believe that in our online generation that people are aware of the resources that are available at the library. And both with the over 55 community, with young people who are still making their way, and with immigrants to our country and our community, there is a digital divide. And people are disenfranchised because they don't own their own computer. They are not literate in that way. And so much with getting a job and doing research is through the computer these days. The bridge to that is the local public library. And I think making people more aware of that in this community is something that will benefit us culturally, educationally, and ultimately economically in the hard times that everybody says are on the way.
All right. Thank you. April, you and Ray, why don't you take that first? Give Karen a little time to catch up.
Thank you.
That's all right.
I knew this would happen.
My question for you is, recently there's been some suggestions of combining both the town and the school library. And what are your thoughts on that?
The school library has an outstanding system, and the Susan ballot has been recognized nationally, and there's no question that that is a wonderful resource in the schools. However, I think to combine them is a mistake. It separates, or it tries to blur what is a real distinction between the purpose of school libraries and a public library. And for some of the reasons I spoke upon just a moment ago, I think that is a real mistake. The public library has a different mission. While there is a symbiotic relationship with the school libraries, it is very different. And to try to combine that, I think, is one of those ideas about saving